Hey everyone, this is SNR here. Firstly, I'd like to apologize for the technical difficulties we faced in the first video. During recording, a good chunk of the introduction as well as the conclusion got cut off, but I figured out what the problem was, so that if you were wondering why the first video was so abrupt in starting and concluding, that was the reason. But today we have a few different subjects ready. Instead of talking about a TV show, we're actually going to talk about a website. So we're just gonna dive right into it. So Roy,
Yes, hello everyone.
what do you think of what was it? It was well, we're a little late on this topic, but you saw Finding Dory in theaters when it was out last year, last summer.
Yes, right.
So what did you think of it in comparison to the first one?
Now, Finding Dory. Well, we all know Finding Nemo is like a great movie. It's certainly a classic. I remember it was maybe one of the first movies I saw in theaters, and obviously I loved it. It's a really, really good movie. And now that we have the sequel to it, Finding Dory, I honestly certainly enjoyed Finding Dory, but I'm not sure if it's quite as good as Finding Nemo,
Mhm.
but of course, it's comparable. Honestly, it's a really good movie, and certain factors that I love about it is that Dory as a character is very lovable. Like she's very nice, and the fact that she has her short-term memory loss makes her very funny because like she'll be talking about something and then she'll forget what she's talking about and she'll be like, "Hi, I'm Dory," and 10 seconds later she'll be like, "Hi, I'm Dory." So yeah, she's a funny character and very very well voice acted by Ellen DeGeneres for sure.
Yeah,
And
I completely agree.
yeah, I love her. And the movie, of course, it was very nice. Dory was trying to find her parents and took her a while, but in the
Even
end,
found
she
herself
succeeded.
along the way in a sense.
That's right. So yeah, I definitely liked the movie. It was a good sequel to Finding Nemo. What do you think? Did you enjoy it?
Um, well, personally, I did enjoy it very much. I realize that we're a little late on this movie, but I figure it's a movie worth talking about. I
Yeah.
saw it last summer. I saw it twice actually. I saw it for the first time with a good friend of mine who both of us we've seen Finding Nemo numerous times. It was always the go-to movie in
Mhm.
elementary, middle, and high school. It was always the movie that substitutes would just throw on if they didn't have anything. And we've seen Finding Nemo a bunch of times, so we were excited about Finding Dory. We we saw it, and the whole time the movie had my interest. It was much better than I expected. I the voices were practically the same. There was a little difference in Marlon's voice, but other than that, the voices were pretty much the same. I thought it was funny. In some cases, it was funnier than the first one.
Yeah.
Um, there was a big sense of adventure. There was a lot of suspense, and I would put it on par with the first one because both movies were equally funny.
Mhm.
Finding Nemo surpassed Finding Dory in some areas of comedic value, and Finding Dory did in other areas. Um, it was good though. It was overall it had a really good plot, and so much that I decided to see it a second time.
Yeah.
And the second time I enjoyed it even more. I knew what was going to happen. And did you see the after credits scene with the characters from the first movie.
Mm, what was it? Was it like the School of Fish with the? I can't quite remember.
It was
Can you refresh my memory?
do you remember uh the Nemo's companions in the fish tank in the first one, the
Oh yes, yes, of course.
Peach and I can't remember the other ones, but Peach, Gale, and the other fish in the aquarium of the dentist's office.
Yep, yep.
Uh, you remember how they
The blowfish,
escaped in the
starfish.
bags?
Yeah, they escaped in the bags.
After the credits of Finding Dory, we see them. They're still in the plastic bags, but they're right outside of the aquarium that Finding Dory is set at,
Oh,
and it shows them, and they get scooped up by some of the workers at the aquarium, and yeah. So I thought that was pretty clever that they threw back to the first movie in that one.
yeah, that's hilarious.
Um,
Maybe I just didn't watch it, but yeah, I didn't remember that part for sure. But yeah, I think it's one of my favorite characters from Finding Dory or the seals. Those seals just were like
yeah, I remember.
so fun.
They were really funny, especially I like the seals. I like Hank the octopus. I thought he was pretty funny, just with how
Oh yeah, the
frustrated he
octopus.
was becoming with Dory throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh man, that was hilarious. I loved it. Yeah.
It was overall that was just a really good movie. I would definitely see it again. I also know that I don't know if it was like this for in theaters near you, but did it did it like continuously stay in theaters near you?
For a while, yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
And I
for
mean, who didn't want to watch Finding Dory? I mean, we've been waiting for a while for like some kind of sequel for Finding Nemo because it came out such a long time ago. I can't quite remember how long ago, but at least I want to say at least 13 years ago, or
yeah,
maybe not that much, but probably around that much actually. So all of us who were kids back then were certainly hoping for a good sequel to it, and it certainly was. Like I loved it.
yeah, exactly. And uh, for me, it stayed in theaters for about uh another 2 months, like after it was supposed to leave the theaters, but it just stayed, and I guess
Yeah.
just a lot of people liked it, and it did really well. And speaking of um movies I've seen in theaters recently, uh, a movie that is still in theaters right now. In most theaters, it's probably taken out, but I believe in a few.
Still out there, so
There's
yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Volume 2.
Great movie. Very, very great movie.
Did you enjoy that one more than the first one?
I think I did honestly. Like I had not watched the first Guardians of the Galaxy until like just a few days before I watched the second one, and I watched it the day it came out. Actually, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, I watched them pretty close together, and oh boy, like to be honest, I didn't expect to enjoy them too much because I'm not that big of a superhero movie fan or anything, but
Yeah, same here.
this this really was not a superhero movie. It has some really funny stuff in there, and not only does it have funny stuff, it has lovable characters and and Groot and the raccoon. I know he doesn't want us to call him a raccoon, but whatever. Um, and not only that, but the music. I just love the music.
Yeah,
Like
same. It was
I could listen to their soundtrack all day and I wouldn't get tired of it.
yeah, the songs they decide
Mm.
to put in those movies, it's just perfect. It perfectly represents the era of time that
Right?
Starkiller Peters is from. Um,
Exactly.
it's I just think they did. a really great job on the score for both movies. And the second one, um, I personally I liked it more than the first one. There was a lot more explanation as to um, like what was going on, and there
Hmm.
was lots of action, and not only action. I didn't love it just for the action. There was just a lot of uh, character development. There was a lot of emotional ties between characters.
Yeah.
Um, we got to see uh, Ego, his father, and that the major plot twist at the end.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we got to see. Oh, and I forgot to correct that. Peter's name isn't Star Killer. I was thinking of Star Wars in that aspect. It's Star Lord, and but yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, Peter. You get to see his emotional bond with his father grow, and it's. I'm not gonna reveal too much. I know that's an important aspect of this, but it's it was a very emotional movie. Surprisingly, like I don't
It
expect that when I see these types
was
of movies.
yeah, like the reasons why I thought it was so good, it had a pretty good plot. It was emotional, like you could really get into it and like feel the characters. It had some very funny at some of the things that happen, which I really don't usually do. Like maybe I'll have like a chuckle, but I don't usually have an actual great hearty laugh in a movie. But in
Yeah,
this one, I sure did, and multiple times. So it was funny and Baby Groot. Damn, I just love Baby Groot.
yeah. There's a lot of comedy in this movie, and it wasn't like the typical Marvel movies where. And I'm not saying these Marvel movies they're bad at delivering jokes, but sometimes the comedy in lots of the Marvel movies it seems pretty forced, and they're trying to make a point that they're
Right?
being
Yeah.
funny. But the comedy in the second Guardians of the Galaxy it just flows naturally with the dialogue. It's not
It
as
really
if they're
does. Yeah.
going out of their way to make a joke or try to be funny. It's just how they are. It's just their characters
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
how they are.
Uh,
And it's just funny to see them like that. Like you won't see a completely just stone-faced character just randomly try to be funny in the middle of it. Like it's funny in his own way. And overall, like, that's one of the many things I enjoyed about this movie. And um,
yeah.
do you think there'll be a third one? I know they were
Oh, there's
definitely
gotta
setting her up
there.
for that.
Oh yeah, for sure. There has to be a third one. Like, not only was the the reception for this one like I'm pretty sure like everyone that I know that watched it and I talked to said that they really liked it, including myself. I
Yeah,
loved it, and so like, and they definitely have like enough out there to make a third one. So I think it would be very smart of them to make a third one, and it would not be very smart of them if they didn't make a third one. So it should be coming out eventually. So
yeah. In the next several years, we'll definitely see the third one. I think
I
that
sure hope so.
I think they have quite a large fan base by now. They have the funding at their disposal. I say go for a third one by all means. Just go for
Absolutely.
it, and maybe it'll surprise us and be even better than both the first and the second. Usually, when there's a series of movies, usually the first is always the best, or the second is the best. But you never see that the third one surpasses both the first and the second. So maybe Guardians of
Right.
the Galaxy will deliver in that aspect, and
Hey, perhaps it will.
they'll just astound us. And
Yeah, yeah.
it'll
It's not an easy job, but hey.
yeah. And while we're talking about space and all of that, I want to jump back
It's,
to an older movie that came out. It makes me feel old when I say this. Almost 10 years ago.
oh wow.
Yeah, Wally. Remember that?
Wow.
Wally.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, that is one of the most acclaimed Pixar movies out there. I
Yeah.
I didn't see it until a little after its release in theaters. I saw it on DVD several years later, but I saw it as a young kid, and this movie, it was delivering a very large message that a more mature audience was is able to see.
Yes.
And it's not a movie that, like lots of kids would just leap at because of the excitement. It definitely requires a lot of patience, and Wally, he's funny in his own way. But this movie was
Mhm.
very different, and I feel like it's worth talking about because personally, it's one of my favorite Pixar movies, and I know that it's one of yours too.
Yes,
So
it is.
I want you to go back for me, and when you first saw that movie, what did you think of it? What did you think of Wally?
Well, again, Wally, like, it's not a regular kids movie. It really isn't. Like, I was watching it as a kid, as you said, like around 10 years ago. So it must have been like maybe 9 years old or maybe 10.
Hmm.
So I was watching it, and you can easily tell that it's not a regular kids movie because, first of all, there's barely any dialogue for a great chunk of the
Yeah,
movie, and you like, and however, it's not like there's no dialogue. It's like you're bored because nothing's happening. There's a lot of things that are happening that you can just see by looking at Wally and what he's doing and what's happening, and you can tell that it's happening in Earth. So you're like, wow, damn, what
you can
happened
relate.
here? Yeah, you can relate. Like, you can see that humans did this, and you can really feel like, damn, like if we keep up what we're doing right now, this is how we're gonna end up. So like, you see how the world has developed into that thing that it is, like, with by and large, and big company owning everything, and so it
Yeah,
really hits to a larger audience more than just kids, and it's it certainly has like a deep message where it shows us that, like, how us as humanity have definitely made a huge impact in this world, and if we don't, like, slow it down, it's gonna get worse. And in a way, it doesn't, like, specifically show that it's worse for humans, because then we see that humans have basically migrated into a, I guess you can call them, like, a space, I don't know, a
an
space city. Yeah,
extraterrestrial habitat.
yeah, exactly, where they have, like, everything humans really need, except they're doing it in a really non-human way.
Mm,
I mean, it's all guided by robots and machines, so like, you can, like, especially in the world we're starting to living in now, where technology is moving so fast, you can really think like, damn, in some years, like, this could this could start to become a reality for us. Like, we can already see so many things of that, like, start to really hit you, like things like virtual reality or all the communications that we have now. Like, it's so easy to just contact anyone, just like FaceTime or video chat, or just call them,
hmm.
or anything like that. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Like, it's
Definitely
it's
makes
just,
lives easier.
certainly it really does. And like, you might say making lives easier is better, but when you see the movie Wall, you're like, these guys, like, this is not fun. Like, they're just sitting on their chairs all day. Like, this can't be better than what we have right now, right? Like, it just gives you so much to think about.
Yeah, I think one of
It's
the
insane.
most powerful messages of that movie, it's well, while one of the its main messages is that sustaining the environment is paramount. It's sustaining the
Yeah.
environment. It needs to be done. I think another message is that technology, like all other things in life, needs to be used in moderation. It can't
Right.
it can't consume someone's life. There needs to be other aspects of it. And
Hmm.
um that I was actually, I don't know, when I was young and still now, you see technology being used in moderation at the end in it's the credits, and it's these drawings, and it's the humans, they're working side by side with the robots, and they're not just making the robots do everything, they're putting in their own creativity and making the new world. They're farming, they're building houses,
Oh yeah.
they're fishing, they're doing all of these things and together.
And I think that's such a nice concept, honestly, just to think about, like, because in the movie you can really, like, Wally is the main character, and he's like, well, he's a not the most advanced robot in the movie because he was left on Earth like back before they
Hundreds of years ago, before this movie
yeah,
takes place.
before they left. But however, he still has his some kind of artificial intelligence, which makes him a lovable character. Like we can like relate to him, and when Eva is it? I watched it in Spanish, so I'm not sure if it's Eva or Eva.
I think
But
either
anyway, when she
works.
comes down, yeah, she comes down to Earth, and she's a very down to earth robot, and they start getting along very well, and they like have some kind of robot romance, and you start to relate to them, and you think it's very cute. And then when they go up to the space station or whatever you want to call it, uh, yeah, you can see Wally like struggling, like, oh, where am I? Like, and then you see all the other robots, but yeah, it's also one of many movies where robots take over, and you can also think a lot about that. Like, damn, is this the future we're headed towards? Is this like how things are going to be
Yeah,
if it keeps going how it is? So yeah, it's so much to think about in one movie, and that's what makes it great, in my opinion. And yeah, like the little message of the plant that Wally finds, and they're like trying to conserve it, and then they plant it and all that stuff. Amazing movie.
yeah, exactly. And I think one of the main reasons it's for a mature audience is that if you it's it falls under the popular science fiction dystopia type of story. If you look at books like 1984 or Brave New World or Fahrenheit 451, these books
Hmm.
all have something in common. They all represent a future that we don't want to live in. It's a dystopia. And
Hmm.
those books, they're by all means, they are not meant for little kids, especially Brave New World in 1984. Um, those are definitely for people in high school or college. Those books, they appeal to a more mature audience, and it's the mature audiences that are able to realize what the messages of these books are. And the same goes for Wally. Wally appeals to a very mature audience, but while also continuing to be entertaining to kids and conveying some sort of message to kids as a whole.
Yeah,
And I think that's probably one of my favorite parts about the movie. It's just so well done. And
it really is.
another thing, we're gonna go off from the Wally topic now. And since we're using Discord right now to talk to each other, I figured that it's worth talking about something that me and you have discussed in the past with our friends. Um,
Hmm.
there's two big platforms that are used in terms of communicating with your friends online. One is Skype, which is the most popular, even though it's losing a little bit of its popularity now, and there's Discord. So
Hmm.
I want to ask you, what do you think of Skype versus Discord? What would you say the advantages Skype has and the advantages Discord has?
Um, okay, so there's obviously a lot of differences. Like they're not the same thing whatsoever, but they do have also similarities. Similarities is well, it's basically just a voice chat where you can have a voice chat and like a call with either one person or multiple people. And for me, one of the main benefits of Discord is that it doesn't use up so much
Resources.
RAM. Yeah, resources. Like it's not so hard on your computer, so you can really have it like just running on the background pretty much, and it doesn't. It's not going to kill your computer or anything. And Skype really does feel like it uses up so much more, and that's just one of the benefits of Discord. One of the reasons I think it's doing better, but also Discord has rooms where you can just join without having to get called. So it's basically you could just like hang out and you don't have to worry about having to call someone and having to like join the call and like
Mm-hmm.
having issues with the host or that kind of thing. And everyone just joins whenever they want and you can just be in the call, leave the call whenever you want, and you can just hang out and you can have multiple rooms, multiple chats, and I think that makes it that's definitely a benefit it has over Skype because Skype you have to like set up the group chat, like add everyone every time, and
And
yeah,
people,
it gets
people, there's no voice channels like Discord has. It's not like you
exactly
can have a group of people who can divide into their own subgroups.
yeah, and every time you want to call, you have to do the call,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have to call everyone that you want. And here it's just like, hey, want to join? Yeah, sure. It's you just click it and you're in. And I mean, that's one benefit. And I mean, I'm not saying this is completely innovative because there's other platforms that certainly have done this before. One of them would be TeamSpeak, and there's one that I used to use before. I can't remember the name of it, but it was one that I used because it was just easier than Skype,
Mm-hmm.
and I used it quite reliable with my friends. I cannot remember the name, but if anyone knows it, you can comment it below, or if anyone knows of other platforms that are good, you can also comment them. But yeah, Discord, it has gotten quite popular, and it's just very easy to use. Also, like there's not much troubles that you go
Yeah.
through with
At
it,
f- at
and
first, it's a little intimidating. Like it's because there's so many features.
right,
It might scare some people off in the sense that it requires your username and your uh, tag
oh yeah, it's a little
tag
bit
number.
annoying, but
But I mean, it's it's worth it because I mean you can have your own username because you're identified
mhm,
by your tag number.
yeah,
And I would say that one of the advantages that Skype has though is that you can video chat
yep,
and
yep,
screen share.
yes,
And
those are huge advantages.
it's for these reasons that I believe that Skype appeals to an older, more professional audience, like um, business, business owners who need to meet with other people from far away,
Hmm.
maybe by means of video chat or sharing their screens. It's the quickest way to do that. It's already very popular, so it's not like you
Oh
could
yeah,
go up to anyone and be like, uh, "Hey, do you have Skype?" And they would know what it is. They may or might not have it. They'll know what it is. Discord, it's more evolved around gamers.
yeah. I
Um,
mean, Discord, like, I'm pretty sure it was made for like gaming. Like, it
mhm.
was like I'm pretty sure Discord, like, as its slogan is something like uh, chat for gamers, or like uh, voice chat for gamers, or something like that. So, I mean, it was intended for gamers. I'm pretty sure initially, but now it's just like we use it at least for just like calling whenever, and I use it with other people just for that as well. So it's definitely gaining popularity, and it's a pretty new platform too. Like it's probably just around a year old, I'm guessing.
A little over a year, I believe.
Yeah.
But I I've also noticed recently that a lot of people I know, especially people who are tech savvy or they just spend a lot of time on the computer in general, or they're just people who play on PC games a lot. A lot of people
Mm.
are migrating from Skype to Discord. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, for sure.
And
And I mean,
they just yeah, it just appeals to them more. They Skype has its fair share of problems. I can't tell you how many times that my call has been disconnected or I just can't hear their voices. Like it'll be
mhm.
such bad quality and
And
it
in
just got annoying.
Skype, I'm not quite sure how this works on Discord, but in Skype you need like someone to host the call, and whoever hosts the call, like if they have bad internet connection, the entire call will have like
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, we'll have like chunky voice and like robot voice. But here in Discord, I'm guessing they have like their own servers for all these things, so you can just join a server, and then it's usually pretty smooth. So that's another thing I like about it.
Yeah, I also think that it's very unique how Discord supports bots who can tend
Oh yeah,
to
big butts.
basically anything you want, music, games, and just use fun commands. And
Exactly. Yeah.
I think that's just great overall. And speaking of games, I'm gonna take you away from Discord and Skype right now, and
Yeah.
we're gonna go back to this is gonna be a throwback to the era of GameCube,
Good old GameCube. Yeah.
and not the game. Not we're not gonna talk about the GameCube explicitly. We're gonna talk about what many people say is the best game for GameCube, and I'm sure that many of you have heard of it in the past, or I'm sure many of you have played it. Super Mario Sunshine.
Super Mario Sunshine. Yeah.
Uh,
Awesome game.
that game, it brings back so many memories. I feel that this is another older topic worth discussing because that game, it's I would like to credit it as being a large reason why I love video games so much today.
Oh
It
yeah.
it gave me the same sense of freedom as Super Mario 64 did, with so much more. I could go on forever about the reasons why I love Super Mario Sunshine, but I mean, I can only list a few. But first, I want to hear your experience with Super Mario Sunshine. How did you find out about it? How was your playing experience and so on?
I mean, I had a GameCube, and I'm not quite sure. I guess I just like I was quite a video game nerd back then. I used to get like all the video game magazines to see like what's up with the latest video game news and whatnot.
Hmm.
So I probably saw Super Mario Sunshine, and I saw like what it's about, and so I got pretty hyped. Like it looked like an awesome game from what I had seen. So I looked at it, and I probably just asked my parents like, "Can you get me this for like either my birthday or Christmas?" Because like that's the only times where I'd get any video games. So I asked them, and I guess it was perhaps for my birthday. I can't quite recall, but so yeah, and I played it, and boy, it was fun. Like I remember seeing the Dark Mario stealing my Peach, and just having so much fun running to get him, and then every time he's like escaping, and you're like, "Come back here, you son of a!" And then he keeps running away, and then when you get the water jetpack, and that's super fun. Just going all over the
Uh,
town, just like smashing everyone.
yeah, having
And
flood.
yeah, oh god, I'm just like going really high with your water pack, and then doing all the missions to get the stars is super fun. Like the sunshines.
Yeah,
Oh
the
god,
shine sprites. Yeah.
exactly. It
Uh,
just brings back a lot of good memories
and
from that game.
there was a lot of shine sprites too. There was
Hmm.
um I remember trying so hard throughout my childhood to get all of them, and I never did. I still haven't
Oh
to
yeah,
this day. I have to dedicate a few weeks to it if I'm ever gonna do it. But
yeah.
um, how I first got it was I think it was for one of my birthdays, and I played it, and I didn't want to stop. I I too thought using flood was really cool,
Yeah.
and it sounds weird, but I enjoyed just like cleaning up the mess around town. Like that just appealed
Oh
so
man,
much to
remember
me.
trying to get like all the ink off
Yeah,
and like
every little spot needed to be clear.
did something happen when you got like all the ink cleaned up? Like I feel like there were parts where like if you cleaned everything, you got like some coins, right? I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure.
yeah, there were some parts, but other parts it just didn't matter. And I remember my brother, we would be fighting a boss, like one of those slime piranhas. There's not the slime,
Yeah.
the goo piranhas, and they would pop out, and I would just constantly try to clear up the mess around them,
Oh
and my
man,
brother would be
yeah.
telling me, "You don't need to do that. Just kill him." And I was like, "Hold on," and and I would just keep trying to
Yeah.
clean everything up. I would just wanted everything to be spotless, and for some reason I was under the impression that I would get some big reward out of it, but
Yeah,
it was just satisfying to me, and I just got
totally.
frustrated when I didn't clean everything up.
Yeah.
And
Same here, dude.
just
Yeah.
my time playing that game, there were so many different levels too, with and each shine it required it asked something different of you. It wasn't really like Super Mario 64
Yeah.
where you just kind of went out and found it. And I know Super Mario 64 there was a pretty decent amount where you had to do something special to get the star.
Yeah. Mhm.
And there was others where you just kind of, just found it or you had to fight someone, but Super Mario 64 there was lots more to do. You would have to fight bosses. You would have to go through those obstacle courses without flood, which was a huge pain. Um,
Mhm.
there was oftentimes lots of riddles you had to solve. Of course, they kept the collect
Yeah.
the 8 red coins.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
and I felt like it was just a very updated version of Super Mario 64 with just more to do and more to explore.
It really
And you
was.
even
Yeah.
got to use Yoshi during it. You needed him at least once
Oh
per
yeah,
level.
yeah, yeah. Super
Needed him a
fun.
few times. And overall, that game was great. And there was just such a wide variety of levels. And each level just asked you to do something different. And it was just so
Yeah.
great. And I just loved that game.
Oh
What
man.
was what was your favorite level in that? I know you might not remember the
Oh,
names, but try to give a description of it. Maybe I'll remember.
you can't definitely cannot remember the name, but I like the that one level where you had to go all the way to the top of a. It was like not a tower, but it was this place where it had like the bell, and way up there was the sunshine, and I can't quite remember why. Maybe it was very challenging for me, but that one really stands out to me in my memory. It's just like,
Oh, trying to ring the bell?
yeah,
Oh yeah, that was just Delfino Plaza. That was just the hub thing.
yeah. Maybe that's just the one I remember best, but there were definitely like a lot. And I haven't played the game in so many years, honestly, but now I somehow have the little song stuck in my head from yeah from the town that goes like bum 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 ba-dum. But yeah, such a good game. And I mean, yeah, you were saying like the one the Nintendo 64 game of Mario Super Mario 64 was obviously, oh, super good for its time and everything. But then Sunshine for the GameCube was amazing. And then I gotta say also, big shout out to Super Mario Galaxy for the Wii. Such a
Oh
great
yeah.
game as well. Like those three, I think it's like a really good Mario trilogy that's like, but all of them are really memorable games in my childhood. I gotta say. So
Yeah, especially
yeah,
since Super Mario 64 and Super Mario Sunshine, those games are definitely older by now, but they still hold up today.
oh
They're
yeah,
definitely still fun to play, as are many Nintendo 64 GameCube games. They're still really fun. And
yeah.
um, going back to memorable moments from Super Mario Sunshine, I'd say that the moment I remember best from Super Mario Sunshine is trying to get the watermelon down from the big watermelon, finding the biggest watermelon you can,
Yeah.
and bringing it to the juicer, and
Oh my god, yes.
that was, I don't know if it was a juicer or just a shredder, but bringing it to
Yeah.
that wasn't my favorite level, but it was, or my favorite you know chance to earn a shine sprite, but it was the most memorable, I guess, because it was so frustrating. If I had to pick a favorite level, it would be Pienta Village, which I think that's what it's called. It's the level where, do you remember when you have to get Flood in his rocket form and blast to the top of the shine sprite tower thing, and you go through this red tube, and you're in this village kind of, and you cross a big bridge, and the whole floor in one of the uh the ant village is the world, and the whole floor in one of the levels is the whole floor is lava, and you had to,
The
and
floor is laughing.
you didn't have flood,
Yeah.
and that was definitely my most, that whole world was my favorite, and that level was my favorite because it was just so challenging. And it wasn't until years later that I realized that there was a much easier way of doing it. When I was younger, I would jump in the river and then just kind of jump out and sling water all over the place to try to clear myself a path, but
Yeah.
and it took almost an hour, and it wasn't until one day I watched a YouTube video on it and they did it in 5 seconds, and I was like, wow, okay. So
Yeah.
it was definitely just one of my favorite games. It's definitely gonna
Yeah.
continue
I
on my
really want to go
favorites.
back to it now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it has one of my
So
favorite soundtracks too.
it's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, I listen to that
Um,
almost every day. It's just it's
yeah.
definitely one of my favorites. But I think on that note, I think this is a good time to close up here. Any final notes for?
Um, no, if you're tuning in, thank you very much. I mean, we definitely appreciate the support from everyone. We appreciate the likes, the subscribes, the views, all that good stuff, the comments, especially if they're nice comments like the ones we've got in our previous video. And yeah, feel free to definitely give some feedback. Tell us what you like, what you don't like, what you want to see more of, what you don't want to see any more of. And if you want, you can also suggest some topics. We'll think about them. And yeah,
Yeah, we're definitely open to suggestions. We'll talk about anything in our realm, things we've played before, things we've watched before. We'll definitely consider it, or websites we visited, and we'll definitely consider it. Yeah, thank you again for watching, subscribing, liking. It means a lot to us, and sorry again about the technical difficulties in the first episode, but I can assure you it won't continue any longer.
sure won't.
I'll get on that. All right. Thank you
Have a
guys.
good one, Aaron.
Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
See you next time.
See you guys next time.